I'm Phil Dye with Prometheus Fire Consulting, and I'm a contract prescribed fire burn boss. One of the things that we definitely need in the prescribed fire world, if we're going to be successful, is we need to embrace emerging technologies that will help us be more effective when we conduct prescribed fires, what I like to call force multipliers. So one great emerging technology, and one that I personally really enjoy, is the BurnBot ignition device. Typically, when we ignite prescribed fire, we have to do it when environmental conditions dictate. Well, with the BurnBot ignition device, we can maybe start blacklining at 6 in the morning because of all of the heat that it creates. It's still going to consume the fuels, whereas if we were doing it with drip torches, we would have to wait till 10, 11, noon before we actually do the ignition. So that's the most exciting part for me. Out here at the Santa Barbara TREX, we had an opportunity to deploy this BurnBot ignition device, and we went up and down the line a couple times, created a nice black line of about 8 to 10 feet. Then we went into our burn unit, we ignited it, and as the fire moved toward the BurnBot line, it stopped, fire went out, no control issues. I can tell you as a burn boss how incredibly comforting that is, knowing that my lines are going to hold. So the BurnBot masticator, it was another example of a technology that we've been able to deploy here at the Santa Barbara TREX. And what the BurnBot masticator allows us to do is to what we call prep the units prior to ignition. So traditionally we bring these crews out, and for a day, or more likely if it's a lot of fuel loading, for a week or more, would perform chainsaw work, would scratch the fuel down to mineral soil, and it's a very labor-intensive process, and it's also a time-consuming process. And we know that, time equals money in many cases. What we can do now is we can send out a very small crew, one operator, possibly a few other people, and we can do it generally quicker and more effectively than we would do with a hand crew. So that's where the force multiplier comes in. The aerial ignition drone, as part of BurnBot Technologies, is an approximately 4 to 5 foot drone that underneath it carries a series of what we colloquially refer to as ping pong balls. What they are is actually little spheres of potassium permanganate that are injected with ethylene glycol. It forms an exothermic reaction, and then the balls are dropped from the drone into a receptive fuel bed. Why I really think this is a tremendous technology and we need to embrace it is the drone allows us to ignite more effectively and more safely in places where we might not normally be able to burn. With these BurnBot technologies, they're able, I think, to allow us to be more effective in doing prescribed fire. It's a force multiplier, and it allows us to do it safely.